one. Okay.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi
Hey,
there.
how you doing? And welcome back to this week's video blog. It's entitled, this one's kind of an interesting one, be better for Halloween, but why do we love the Boogeyman?
Everybody loves the Boogeyman.
Oh my gosh, how about that? All right, well, welcome back and thank you for following along. So what do you think? Are you understanding these blogs a little better, these videos a little better? Do you like the format? Do you like how we're doing this? We're just sort of plowing through and then discussing afterwards. Please let us know. That would be great. Won't
We can
you?
change it up depending on your requests.
Yeah, we can do that. So I think most people, whether they admit it or not, want to hear about the Boogeyman.
Oh, I need to tell a story.
Go ahead.
So when the kids were little, especially this one, I would get ready to start to tell a spooky story, and I would say, it was a dark and stormy night, and meatballs were rolling off the roof. And he would freak out and spaz out and go crazy, but love it at the same time. So this is a good example. Do you remember that?
Okay.
Did you cry?
Probably.
It was really awesome.
Great. All right, excellent. Yep, well, he loved the Boogeyman. How about that? So like I said, most people, whether they admit it or not, want to hear about the Boogeyman, right? You know, all the bad things that are happening or are going to happen or have happened or probably might happen and so on and so forth, right? For some, the Boogeyman is going through life, not having their beliefs challenged. How about that? Seeking and heeding only those opinions that they already agree with or are the same as theirs. And each and every day preparing themselves to battle an enemy that exists only in their mind. How about that? There's a Boogeyman for you. And people love to hear this because it builds that Boogeyman. Oh, they're coming after us. This is someone saying, we're good, and all the rest of this stuff. Good, at any rate. I've read that this Boogeyman stuff is actually perhaps a carryover from paleo times when our cave ancestors had to focus on all the bad and dangerous stuff as a matter of survival, lest they let down their guard and be wiped out in some unpleasant manner. And that makes sense. Way back when, you had to pay attention to the bad stuff. There just wasn't time to hang around and, oh, isn't this fun and everything? Because if you let your guard down, you're probably going to get wiped out. So you had to always look over your shoulder to see if there was a pterodactyl coming after you or something. Not a whole lot of fun. Perhaps this is in our DNA, but if one looks around, these are no longer paleo times, right? And if one were interested, I can recommend a number of books and resources that demonstrate that we are living in times where greater and greater numbers of people are flourishing and prospering. You might not believe me, but it is absolutely true. So, everybody's doing better, fewer people in poverty, there's food, there's health care, there's all sorts of things and everything else, and yet everybody's always looking for the bad side of the story, the Boogeyman. Kind of an interesting thing. You look at the movies that are out there, all the apocalyptic zombie things where some guy's got to go around eating brains and all the rest of the stuff at the end of the world, and the world's not ending. So, if that's the case, why don't we spend more time living and enjoying being alive and believing, instead of believing the worst can and will happen at any moment? There's always another side to the situation. I heard this old Indian proverb, and I'll tell you, there was this warrior and he had a beautiful horse, right? And everybody said, he's very lucky. Well, one day the horse ran away, and then all the people said, he's very unlucky. Well, a few days later, the horse came back and he brought a whole bunch of beautiful ponies with him. And everybody said, the warrior is lucky. Now, there's a part to this story that I keep forgetting to say. But each time they told the warrior that he was lucky, he'd say perhaps. When they said he was unlucky, he would say perhaps. So one day, the warrior's son is riding on these ponies, or one of these ponies falls off and breaks his leg. Everybody said, he's unlucky. All the warrior said was perhaps. A few days after that, the chief declared war against a neighboring tribe. right? And a lot of young men were killed. But because his leg was broken, the warrior's son did not go off to battle and die. Interesting sort of a thing. It's just that in life, good things happen, bad things happen, and bad things might turn out to be good things might turn into bad things, but a person can always change his mind and take another path. There is no perfect path or ideal anything, so keep moving. And that's really what we're getting at. You know, people will always focus on the boogeyman or on the bad, and they'll miss the good. And in focusing on the bad, one day the bad might actually turn out to be the good. Now what are you going to do? Now you're going to focus on the good because it's the new bad, so that it can always be bad, right? I heard another story that I thought was pretty interesting. And there was this little bird, and he was enjoying himself, chirping along, flying, having a good time, and he was having so much fun, he decided that he wasn't going to fly south for the winter. Well, winter came and it got very, very cold, so the bird thought he'd better get out of there. So when he took off and tried to fly, his wings were frozen and straight to the ground he fell. So as he laid there on the ground, a cow came along and looked at him, and as cows do, the cow came over and took a dump on him, right? Big steamy dump. Well, after a while, the bird started to warm up, right? And he began to chirp. Chirping and chirping and chirping. Well, a cat heard this bird chirping, and the cat came along, dug the little bird out of the dung, and ate the bird. Wow. So what's the message here? The message is basically that not all who shit on you are your enemies, and not all who pull you out of the shit are your friends. Interesting. So, I like that. So what am I getting at? Basically this. Not all solutions are solutions, and not all problems are problems. If one is always looking for the boogeyman, he might not experience the good of the situation. You know, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. If you look at it from here, it's bad. You look at it from here, it's good. So, which is it? Why always focus on the bad? The same is true for one's health and wellness. If one is constantly looking for a cure, he might miss it, for undoubtedly the solution or answers one is looking for can be found in the moment. That cure could be right there. If you've read any of these blogs, just go ahead and look in the mirror and you'll find the cure. There it is, it's you. So today's solutions most often become tomorrow's problems, and in time will be the next tomorrow's solution. So just keep moving and pushing through life. There is so much more to life than worrying about the boogeyman.
And I thought of something kind of interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of patients come in and they're very introverted on their body. You know, oh, it's my kneecap, then it's their elbow, then it's their ear, and then it's their back. And they're always like really looking at their body and figuring out where there's jammed up energy or something like that. And it's just, you know, you gotta stop doing that, and then you'll find that the pains aren't so bad. You don't even notice them, you know, so it's interesting.
That's an interesting point, because what they'll say is that the pain moved. So now it was in my elbow, now it's in my knee. Then it moved from my knee to my earlobe. Then it moved from my earlobe to my big toe. It doesn't work that way. The pain doesn't move around. You get this idea, you got this thing called pain. There's this entity called pain. This thing, this boogeyman called pain that's going all around and visiting all sorts of areas in your body. It doesn't work that way.
Go take a walk and you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Essentially holding on to anything too near and dear because, oh, this was good 5 years ago. Get rid of it. If it's no longer serves a purpose, any purpose at all, then it's a burden. It's an anchor. Get rid of it. So we just see that so often. No, this exercise worked for me when I was 18. You're not 18.
It's hurting you now.
Change.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Good point.
Well, it is. It's very true, and you have to pay attention to that. Like I said, today's solution will invariably be tomorrow's problem. And you're like, well, that's not right. Well, then tomorrow's problem becomes the next tomorrow's solution. You know, adaptability. We've talked about that. That's really the definition of health and wellness, is being able to adapt and look at this stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is just stop looking at the boogeyman. You don't have to. We live in great times. There is no end of the world coming or anything else like that. Life is ahead of us. It's not behind us. Keep looking forward. Keep pushing forward.
And the other thing that I just thought of, which is kind of poignant, is that oftentimes drugs are taken for a solution, but they definitely oftentimes become a problem. So that's why we have a natural pharmacy at our office, and we try to help people in a natural way and eating better and deflaming their systems and things like that, so that, you know, it doesn't become a problem later on. So there you go.
All right, well, that'll do it. If you think about it, hit subscribe, hit the like button, make some comments, whatever you want to do. Let me know. Take care.
All right, see ya.
Yes.
Peace.